Rolling solo or
God, we're rolling solo. We're live. We're live. Shalom, shalom, Israel. Shalom, shalom to those in class. Shout out ISBHBK Rochester, ISBHBK Virginia, ISBHBK Houston doing their thing, spreading the word. Shout out Sword of Truth family. Those in class, those listening online, those playing it back. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. The teacher needs a student as much as the student needs a teacher. That's one thing we always talk about, and we definitely are thankful to have the opportunity to spread this word. With that being said, today's class topic is called or titled, "Why Am I Offended?" Now, if you ask Esau, if you ask the nations, they'll look at the season, they'll look at the summertime. Summertime's kicking, it's hot. 107 degrees outside. not to mention the humidity. It's 100. Feel like 120. And what Esau will say, because the temperatures are rising, it increases the aggravation level. The temperature makes you feel uncomfortable, and that could be one of the reasons why you're more moody than maybe normal. They'll also equate the same scenario with depression, the seasonal depression when it's wintertime. They'll say, well, it's because the winter is a little colder outside, less vitamin D from the sun. That's why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Whichever way it is, we understand and we look at things from a spiritual perspective. It's not the sun. It's not the coldness. It's not the winter breeze. It is a spiritual deficiency. And we're going to find out, before we get into how to handle the offenses, we're going to find out where these offenses come from. Let me get this comments up. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. All right, to start it off, let's get 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. There's no Josephus today, so we're just going straight Bible. No Philo either. No special books. All right, 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1.
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
So this is a prophecy. Perilous times shall come in the last days. And we're going to find out a lot of the reason for these perilous times, a lot of the reason for these hardships comes from the moral faculties or the depreciated moral faculties of the world. And we're going to list some of these things right now. Read on.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
What we have to realize is, and we have to acknowledge, the root of our anger, the root of our, our lashing out, offenses that come from stem from somewhere. It could be because men nowadays, people nowadays, are lovers of their own selves. What does that mean? I prioritize my own happiness. I prioritize my life. I prioritize my mental health. The problem with that is, if you prioritize you become selfish. Somebody else has to lose. If the husband or the father decides, I want to live my life and walk out on my kids and my wife, who loses? Who gets offended?
Family structure.
The family falls apart. Same thing for the wife. If she decides, I want to still be young and live my life and be free and be a free spirit, be 22 again, the child is now neglected. The husband is now neglected, and they become offended. This is just one of the reasons why someone could be offended, why someone would hold on to these grudges, why someone would hold on to trust issues. Because, like the scripture says, in the last days, perilous times shall come. And the reason for that, we're reading the first example, is what? Read on.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
People will be lovers of their own selves. They'll prioritize them. I come first. My passions come first. My lifestyle comes first. What you got going on, I don't care if you're family related. I don't care if you're friend related. It doesn't matter. I need me to come first, and nothing else matters. Read on.
Covetous.
The covetous person is in the same retrospect. Because I come first, whatever you got, I want as well. Whatever lifestyle you have, I also envy. And I'm going to do whatever I can to obtain that. You know what the problem with that mentality is? If you're covetous and you're going to do whatever you can to get what you want, someone gets hurt in the end. Someone loses. Someone suffers. Someone has to grieve because you chose you. You chose the mindset of being covetous. Again, all we're doing is painting the picture of where the offenses come. We haven't gotten to handling or coping with the offenses yet, but we still got to establish how to identify where they're coming from. So we're not just lost. Read on.
Boasters. Proud.
So the boasters and the proud person. Again, when you're dealing with a proud person, you're destined to get offenses. Because the proud person can't be told anything. The proud person's mindset is, I'm the most important thing since sliced bread. If you got something to say, keep it to yourself. That proud person is the stemmer or the bringer of contentions. The bringer of arguments. They've always got strife going on. They always got debate going on with their neighbor. In their households. Amongst their peers. Amongst their friends. This person also brings offenses. Read on.
Blasphemers. Disobedient to parents.
The blasphemers. Shoot, in Israel land, blasphemers offend us every day. The reality is, the whole world structure is based off of their gods are more important than our God. If you push your God, you push your power in society, you're going to be shamed. You're going to be offended. If you push anti-Semitic ideas, anti-LGBTQ ideas, there's going to be a problem with you. Because the world is built off of blasphemes. So whether you're offended because of the blasphemies of the world, whether you're offended because people just have selfish intentions, impure intentions, they're covetous, they always want what you got, and you got to put up a defense and a guard against that, whatever it may be, these are the causes and the reasons for why people would get offended, why they would feel some type of way about their peers, about their people. Read on. Disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to parents. Unthankful.
The disobedient parents and unthankful go hand in hand. Because why would I be disobedient to my parents? Because I don't appreciate the lifestyle they've given me. I don't appreciate the fact that, you know what, whatever I got, somebody else will be longing for. Whatever family structure I have, even when it comes to marriages. A lot of our people have an issue with their husband. Because my husband doesn't do this in the house. Because my husband isn't like somebody else's idea of a husband. Or my wife isn't up to standard of what I think she should be. That's a spirit of unthankfulness. Because how about what you got, the wife you got, is what somebody else would die for. The husband you got is what a wife would die for. The father, the mother that you got, children don't have. And children wish for. This unthankful spirit stems offenses. Because when I'm offended or when I'm unthankful, I don't take and I don't value what the person brings to me every day. Another reason for strifes. Another reason for contentions. Another reason for arguments. The person that's offended becomes the offender. And we'll get into that later in maybe another class, part 2 hopefully. Because right now we're just dealing with how to handle the offenses. But we haven't even gotten to, if you're the defendant, if you're the offender. We'll get into that later. But anyway, keep reading.
It says, unthankful, unholy. Verse 3. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 3 now.
Okay.
Without natural affection.
So nowadays, again, what are we doing? We're painting the picture of what society is morally operating by. Society morally teaches people to be for your own self. You know what the problem what that does is? It brews unnatural affections. Because if I'm only caring about myself, then I don't have the same affection, or I don't have the biblical affection I should have towards those around me. I no longer care and concerned about my peers, about my family, about my loved ones. I've developed an inordinate way of looking at the people around me. So because I have unnatural affections, guess who gets hurt? The people around me. Guess who becomes offended? The people around me. Because I haven't converted yet. And the reality is, all of us are coming from these environments. All of us understand this mentality because we've lived it, or we're the ones who do it. Oh shit, let me get this going real quick. Keep going.
Without natural affection, truce breakers.
Truce breakers is someone. What does a truce breaker do?
Go against their word.
Okay. So what's the result of someone who goes against their word continuously? What spirit does that build?
Untrustworthy. Resentment.
Okay.
On the other part.
Resentment and untrustworthy. So now I'm used to having my trust broken. So you know what I do? I put a guard up. I make it impossible for people for people to get me to trust them. I make it impossible to get into my mind because I'm putting a guard up all the time because I've been offended. I've been hurt in my life. So now, because I know that people in the past have done me wrong, they have unnatural affections. I understand that people are only in for themselves. There's proud people in the world. I'm going to shut everybody else off. The problem with that is, because I'm offended, because I put this wall up, this guard up, I'm now liable to offend somebody else in the future. And I'll be somebody else's reason why they got to put their guard up. And the cycle will continue over and over and over again. And we'll never get to the root of the issue. Keep reading.
It says false accusers.
False accusers. Shoot, we deal with false accusers all the time. People are going to slander your name, give a false testament of what you did or what you didn't do. And what does that do? That creates, again, the spirit of resentment, the spirit of frustration, the spirit of anger, because I'm offended now. All we're doing, again, is just laying out multiple different aspects because being offended encompasses a whole lot of different things. It's not just circumstances. It's not just people. It could just be words. It could be a thought. It could be excuse my French, but a slow grandma in traffic. Offenses can encompass a whole lot of different arenas. So we're just establishing different ideas and different aspects of the offenses before we get into how to handle it. Read on.
It says incontinent.
Incontinent is just someone who's has no self-control. They have no self-control, and a person that has no self-control, again, is going to hurt somebody. Read on.
Fierce.
Fierce. Why would someone be fierce? We just listed, I would say, more than 8 different reasons why someone would be offended. I understand people are proud. I understand people will take advantage of me. I understand people don't have natural affections, so I got to put up a front. I have to protect my spirit. I have to protect myself. I have to become more aggressive. Not to call out the state, but if you go to New York, you're going to find a whole lot of fierce women in New York. Because the environment is built off of that strong masculine spirit. I have to encompass the environment. That's where the idea of the product of my environment comes into. Because whatever environment, whatever circumstance I grew up in, I had to adapt just to survive. Fierceness is a survival tactic. Being brutal, being quick to go to war, being quick to fight, put hands on people, that's not natural for a man or for a woman, especially not for a woman. But because of my life circumstances, I had to develop that fierce nature. I had to develop that unnatural affection just to survive. Keep reading.
Despisers of those that are good.
And if you're in the truth, you're going to come around a lot of people that despise those that are good. Because it's not just brutal, it's just people are not used to being told that they got to keep changing. You got to keep growing. And when they see those that push for more, there's an insecurity behind it. There is a feeling of, why do I have to keep growing at your rate? If you're a rib, you see your husband constantly growing, constantly striving for more. And what is he naturally going to do? He's going to push you to strive for more. He's going to push you to grow for more. And then what happens to that husband? He gets blowback. You know why? Because that pressure is not a good feeling. Being told what you're doing, that your quote-unquote best that you're doing is not good enough, is not a good feeling. And all that offense does is reveal what's really in your heart. You actually despise those that are good. So in retaliation, you lash back out, you rebel, and now you have caused another offense in this household. Now the family starts drifting apart because everyone's going 2 different directions. One is striving for more. The other is okay with being where they're at. This is another element of being offended. There's another reason why people will be offended nowadays. Keep reading.
Verse 4. Traitors.
Shoot. Getting backstabbed. People always take advantage of you. They take advantage of the good that you bring. Your good nature. They use you. They associate it with being gullible. So you're a come up. It's just what it is. In the world, if you're a good person, if you're meek, if you're not one to be confrontational, you're going to get taken advantage of. And this is why a lot of people shy away from that meek nature, shy away from that kind-hearted nature, because you'll get taken advantage of in the world. Read on.
And it says heady, high-minded.
Heady, take risks. You're quick to get angry. High-minded. Another word for haughty. Another word for prideful. Read on.
lovers of pleasures more than lovers of the Most High.
Lover of pleasure more than the lovers of the Most High. Not only are you offending the Most High by not putting Him first, but again, if I love pleasure more than I love God, then everything around me suffers. Because it still goes back into that first mindset that I'm going to take care of me. I'm going to make sure that I'm straight. I make sure that my mental health is good. Because people now associate mental health with euphorism. I got to always be in a state of just being sensually pleasured. There can't be downtime. Boredom is not a thing anymore. You can't be bored. If you're bored, then you're unfulfilled. If you're unfulfilled, then you're not in the right scenario. You're not in the right relationship. You need to find some excitement in your life. These are the people that strive after and love pleasure more than they love the Most High. Read on.
Verse 5. Having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof.
The person or the people that have a form of godliness but deny the power thereof are also ones to offend the Most High. Also ones to offend their neighbors. Because you know what? They present the spiritual man. They present the spiritual woman. They put the scarves on. They put the garment on. They got the fringes. They learn the language, the Hebrew. They learn the words. But in the back of their mind, there's a lot of evil.
Narcissistic people.
Huh?
Narcissistic.
Narcissistic, prideful, envious. We're going to find that nature is also an envious person. Because you know what? They look a certain way. They talk a certain way. But when they go back home, they're battling the hatred they got in their heart. They're battling, how do I cope with my envy? How do I cope with me not getting what I want? This person that has a form of godliness but denies the power thereof, they deny the change that the Most High is requiring to grow in. And because they deny the change, they're still that same person that was coming out of the Word. They're still that same trader. They're still that same high-minded, the same lover of pleasure. Still the same one with unnatural affection. And because they're still that same person, they're eventually going to offend somebody else. So again, we went through all that to explain where these offenses come from. How can I identify them? Now we're going to start going into the mindset and taking when we get offended. Before we get there, keep reading. I forgot what this part.
Con says, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such, turn away.
Now, we understand you don't want to come across this person. If I have the option to avoid these characteristics, the smart and prudent thing is prudent. The prudent thing is to avoid the scenarios. If you're in a spousal search, the prudent thing is to look for these traits in that person and avoid them. Or if you can't avoid them all, pick the best ones that you can manage and you can deal with. But the reality is, we can't turn away from majority of these problems. Because guess what? We are the ones that have these problems. We're coming from these problems. We're the product of these problems. And because we're the product of these problems, we're going to keep recycling the struggle. We're going to keep recycling the offenses until we decide to change. So in the spiritual sense, in this realm, there's no way to avoid this. There's no way to turn away from this. So that's why we're going into the handling, how to deal with the offense. Part of the class is identifying why I'm offended. But then we're going to find out really what is a justifiable reason for me to stay offended. That's later. I don't want to spill the beans. But let's go to let that go. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18 and verse 7.
Done. Matthew chapter 18, verse 7 reads, woe unto the world because of offenses.
It says, woe unto the world because of offenses. The Most High has a response to all these offenders in the world. We're going to find out, not today's class, hopefully next time I get on here, we're going to find out how the Most High deals and how He operates with those that are continuously offending. The Most High is not unjust. But just because He destroys the offenders doesn't mean the offense is not necessary. Read on.
For it must needs be that offenses come.
Why would Christ say offenses need to come? Anybody know?
I got to expose somebody's weakness.
Yeah. That's a great answer. What you got, Mawula? Mawula, what you got?
It's all good.
Expose somebody's weakness. That is, I guess, the root of it. But what weakness?
Temperance.
Yeah, it's the temperature, like the sensitivity of a person. You work on those things. The only way you can work on it is if you test them. If you get at them, we got to be hardened somehow.
Okay.
Those senses have to be exercised.
No, you're right on point. What you got?
Measure of a man's meekness or a woman's weakness.
Right.
That is a phase in which we're going to go into, and I want to go there right now. We'll do that right now. Jumped up to verse 1 down to 3.
God.
So he said. So the answer to class was it's a measure of one's meekness, temperance, testing where you're at, seeing. What would you say again, Ahmad?
Exercising.
Exercising specific virtues.
Making those senses.
Those are all great answers. Read on.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 1 reads,
Mm-hmm.
At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
So the disciples asked Christ, who is the greatest in heaven, in the kingdom of heaven? How do you quantify the greatest man or woman in heaven? Read on.
And Yahushua called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily, I say unto you, except ye be converted.
It says, Christ said, except you be converted, meaning you have to go through a process of changing. You have to renew or regenerate your previous and your current way of operating, your previous and current way of thinking. You have to be converted as what? Read.
Except ye be converted and become as little children.
As little children, you have to become as little children. Now we're going to find out what he meant by little children in a little bit, but keep reading.
Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
So if I don't have this little child's mind, Christ says you're not even going to enter the kingdom. We're not even mentioning the greatest in heaven, but you won't even make the doors. So why did he say we have to be converted? Why did he say we have to make such a drastic change? Before we get into what it means to be converted as a child, let's go to Matthew 13 and verse 18 real quick. Hold that in 18 and 3.
Matthew 13 and verse 18.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready, brother.
Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower.
Now, I got a class on this, but it's going to explain there's 4 different types of seeds that Christ is representing. Those seeds actually symbolize and represent your spirit, the spirit and the work. All right? So the first one, we're going to identify, read on.
Matthew 13 verse 18. Hear ye therefore the parable of the sower.
Mm-hmm.
When anyone heareth the word of the kingdom and understandeth not.
So the first person, they hear the word of the kingdom, but they don't get it. It doesn't register. It doesn't click. They're not motivated by it. And what happens? Read.
Then cometh the wicked one.
Satan swoops in. Distractions swoop in. An alternative lifestyle swoops in and does what? Read.
And catches away that which was sown in his heart.
So if that spirit didn't take root, that spirit wasn't motivated to make any substantial changes. So because he wasn't motivated to make any changes, he didn't understand the power that the Most High was teaching him through the scriptures. He was able to be rooted away, able to be drawn away. Read on.
This is he which received seed by the wayside.
So that's the first example. Now we're going to find out the second example. Read on.
But he that received the seed into stony places.
So this is another person, another spirit, another example. This seed was tossed into the stony places, all right? Now, the stony places is not a very fertile land. So it's hard to take root in the stony places. But he starts off strong. Read on.
The same is he that heareth the word.
He hears the word. We know faith comes by hearing. So now his process, his faith is starting to grow. He hears the word and does what? Read.
And anon with joy receiveth it.
And enjoys it. He likes it. He comes to class. He asks questions. He enjoys the process so far. All right? Read on.
Yet hath he no root in himself.
But he's not rooted. He's not tethered to anything. His spirit hasn't begun to sprout or to convert yet. Read on.
But dureth for a while.
He's in it for a little bit. He endures for a while. He'll go to class. He'll hear the scriptures. He may even join, the brotherhood a little bit. She may join the sisterhood. She may be a part of the body for a while. But something is still in her that allows Satan to sweep in. She's still lacking something, stability or a foundation to keep her tethered for the long run. Keep him tethered for the long run. Read on.
For when tribulation,
when hardship, when anxiety, when suffering, when offenses, read,
or persecution,
when I got to start living what I say I live, when I got to start changing my wardrobe at work, and I start getting those weird eyes, those weird questions, whenever I'm the joke of the job, everybody's always clowning me for always talking about Christ, and always talking about the Sabbath, and always talking about the dress code and what I can and cannot eat. I always got to deny the breakfast tacos because I always egg and bacon. When I got to be the oddball, the jerk that never wants to receive the charity of the co-workers, I don't want to ever eat the pizza parties because I always got pepper. There's no cheese ever. It's just pepperoni pizza. When I got to be that person, I got to get persecuted, even potentially fired because now there's discord amongst the group. The employees don't feel comfortable around you because you're the oddball. You make them feel weird. When I got to be that person now, what happens to this person? What happens to this spirit? Read.
For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word.
Because all this happens because of the word. The word is forcing your faculties to change. It's exhorting you to look at things differently. You're slowly but surely starting to make changes. But the problem is, remember, they were never rooted in themselves. So nothing was. They enjoyed hearing the scriptures. They enjoyed being in class, but it wasn't rooted. It wasn't firm. It wasn't stable. Read on.
Arises because of the word. By and by he is offended.
By and by they're what?
By and by he is offended.
So when I have to start suffering and living Christ, I start becoming offended. When the people around me start making me feel uncomfortable, and I don't believe Christ like I say I believe Christ, I start becoming offended. When we get into it, the offense is holding on to grudges. The offense is I start developing hate in my heart. Whether it be hate for the work, whether it be hate for the sisters, whether it be hate for the men, whether it be hate for the idea of having to serve Christ. I start developing these emotions because I was never tethered. And I didn't allow myself to be converted. Let that go. Let's go back to Matthew 18 and verse 3 and 4.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
That could be a rule of thumb almost, that when a person doesn't catch up with the word and he doesn't catch the word, the devil automatically slips in to try to grab him.
Come on, because I'm not going to go there, but you can write it down. It's 2 Corinthians 4 and 4. Satan is looking for the opportunity to blind the eyes of the chosen. You say, well, what? And I don't know when I'll be able to teach that class, but when you go into that class, it shows how the fact that you were able to see the word and enjoy it was the first battle. But if you didn't see it and start taking root, you're still liable to be blinded. You're still technically blinded. Because all it takes is a circumstance for that love to disappear. That's why Christ said in Revelations 2 that I have an ought against you because you've lost your first love. Why would someone lose their first love? Because they weren't as tethered to the scriptures and the word as much as they thought they were. And all it took was tribulation or persecution or loss or hardship or not getting what you wanted for you to no longer actually be about this word anymore. No, I don't know if I'm serious anymore. Let me stop coming to class. I'm broker than usual. I'm sadder than usual. I feel lonely. When I was in the world, I have all these friends. I had all these opportunities. I had all these fun things to do.
The word is telling me to do.
Well, or they'll find reasons. They'll find scriptures or ideas in the Bible to match their way of looking at life. Ecclesiastes says to enjoy the good things in life. Why do I feel like I'm not enjoying myself, my fruit of my labor? They'll start finding ideas and concepts to match their lust. But that's just the beginning of the end. That's just Satan slowly weeding them out. But we're going to find out in terms of the offenses. What happened?
And what was that? 2 Corinthians?
4 and 4.
4 and 4, okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. Now, give me that Matthew 18 and verse 3 real quick.
Matthew chapter 18 and verse 3 reads, and said, verily, I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children,
ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
This is why Christ said we have to be converted in order to enter the kingdom of heaven. Because if we're not converted, if our mind and our way of looking at the offenses, our mind and our way of looking at the tribulation, the loss, the pain, the trauma, the suffering, if that doesn't change and how we perceive it, we're going to be cast off eventually. Now let's find out what this mind of this child looks like. Give me 1 Corinthians 14 and verse 20. I want to make sure to be very careful with my fingers today, because I am liable. All right, what you got?
1 Corinthians 14, verse 20. Brethren, be not children and understanding.
Now, what Christ wasn't saying is to be a child in the mind, or slack it, to be child in understanding. Meaning what? Don't be foolish. We're supposed to be spiritually mature. But what he's saying is the childlike nature that we're supposed to have is our heart and our way of looking at the suffering, our way of looking at the loss. Keep reading.
Howbeit, in malice be ye children.
In malice. Give me the definition of malice. It says, in malice be ye children. So don't be child in understanding, but in malice. Malice. Give me that. 1828.
Malice, extreme enmity of heart.
Mm-hmm. Give me the noun. Oh no. You're good. Keep reading. You're good.
Says extreme enmity of heart or malevolence. A disposition to injure others without cause.
So a person with malice has a disposition to injure others without cause. Now that's not necessarily most of Israel's issue. The other part of malice is that second aspect. Read on.
It says from mere personal gratification or from a spirit of revenge.
So the malice that we're referring to is, I need to get back at you for what you did to me. I secretly want you to suffer the way you made me suffer. I want you to feel the same pain that you caused me. So when Christ was saying we need to be converted as little children, he's referring to the mind, the lack of malice that a child has. We can see that a child doesn't have malice. The reality is, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad parents. There's a lot of bad parents, not only in the nation of Israel, but in the world. But we also see that child will still have hope for them. That child, when their father leaves, will still pray and hope they're going to come back one day. That child, when their mother leaves, when their mother becomes an absentee mother, when she goes on drugs, when she starts drinking, there's still a hope that they're going to change. They're going to come back to being the mother that they knew. They hold on to that same love. They don't take them personal. So we can understand that on a carnal level, on a relationship level. If we take that concept with how people affect us in day-to-day life, that's the conversion process that we need to have. The problem with that same child is when they grow up, they lose that meekness. They lose that love. After a while, they stop waiting. They stop hoping. They stop waiting for that person to change. They stop waiting for that father to come back. They stop waiting for that mother to come back. They stop waiting for people to start treating them with respect and love. You know what happens? They grow bitter. They stop waiting. They stop hoping. They stop praying. They stop seeking the best way of looking at them possible. And because I don't seek the best way of looking at them possible, now all I can think about is the worst. You missed these many birthdays. You missed my first home run. You missed my first homecoming dance. You missed my first girlfriend. Everything's now starts replaying their life as they become an adult because they got bitter envy. They have bitter resentment towards their parents. They hold on to grudge. They can't let it go anymore. Now you're the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I wish you were never here. That is the evolution. But that wasn't what they were in the beginning. We're supposed to maintain that childlike mentality, even in our adult years. We're not supposed to let the world beat us up to the point where we no longer can look at the purity in the people around us, the purity in the situations around us, in the environments around us. This is what we're going over. So when it goes into why am I offended, we're going to find out, is the Most High allow us? Does he justify us to keep this grudge, to keep this anger, to keep this resentment, even though we've been used, abused, and beat up in our life for countless decades, countless not generations, but years? Can I maintain this mentality and it be just? That's what we're going to find out. Keep reading that verse 14 and 20.
God, it says, brethren, be not children in understanding. Howbeit, in malice be ye children, but in understanding be men.
In malice be ye children, but understanding be men. Be a mature adult in a spirit of understanding. Don't be foolish. Now we're going to find out, what does it mean to be a mature spiritual adult? What does it mean to be wise? James 3:13.
James chapter 3 and verse 13.
1 second, brother. Shalom, family. Shalom, Israel Online. The water for tuning in. Okay. James 3:13.
James chapter 3 and verse 13.
Come.
Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge amongst you?
Who is a wise man, a spiritually mature person, endued with knowledge among you? What qualities do they have? Read on.
Let him show out of a good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
The person that is wise can show his works through his meekness. His conversation is meek. My actions are meek. What is meekness, class?
The ability to endure injury without resentment.
So the wise person can be injured, can be offended, and not take it personal. Can be done wrong, can be used, can be casted aside, and not look at the people, not look at the circumstance, and not look at the Most High in a negative outlook. Read on.
But
in contrary, because the reality is, this sounds good, but this isn't how our people normally operate. You know what the problem is? When our life isn't to the standard in which we wish or wish we want it to be, or what we thought reality should look like, what do? Read on.
It says, but if ye have bitter envying.
When I don't get what I want, what do I start doing? I start comparing, contrasting everybody else's life. Why did I have to go through such hardships that this person doesn't have to go through? Why do they have the life? Why do they have the husband? Why do they have the family? Why do they have the wife that I always wanted? I'm out here suffering for years. I'm a good guy. I got jokes. I read the Bible too. What is so special about this person? The Most High has blessed his household and not blessed mine. What am I now? I'm now offended. I'm bitter. I'm bitter and I'm offended. Because I didn't get what I wanted. Because the reality the Most High has got me in is not what the other person had to go through. Why did this person get the ideal household? They grew up in the two-parent household. They grew up in a nice neighborhood. They grew up with peace. Nothing ever happened to them. There was no traumatic event in their lifetime. They were just living spectacular. They lived the American dream. I went through the hood. I went through the ghetto. I lost both parents. I didn't have, all the friends. I didn't go to the best school. I didn't have the best education. I didn't play the sports. I didn't get to chase my dreams. I'm still suffering, but they're not suffering. Life beat me up. The offenses beat me up. Everybody else around me seems to be living a happier life. Now I have bitter envy. Read.
But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your heart.
And that strife is that secret anger. That strife is that secret resentment. Because the world has used me. The world has got the best of me. They took the best of my years. The world got everything from me and I came out with nothing. Now I have strife in my heart. Because the strife and the envy doesn't necessarily come out at first. This is something that's been meditated on for a long time. By and by, I am offended because of the word. Little by little, my offenses start coming out. They start oozing out of me. I can't fake the funk. I can't fake the godliness forever. I can't fake it. It has to come out. Someone has to feel these offenses. They have to get my negative. Because I haven't been rooted yet. I haven't been converted yet. I haven't let it go. I haven't taken the offenses the way the Most High intended me to take the offenses. Read that point again.
Come. James chapter 3 and verse 14. But if ye have bitter envy and strife in your hearts, glory not.
He says, glory not. Just because you look the part and you can fake the funk for a long period of time, don't think you're on point. Because you still have these major deficiencies in your spirit. You have these huge problems that need to be addressed that still have not been addressed yet. Read on.
Con. Glory not and lie not against the truth.
Why is the Most High call us a liar if we haven't solved this envying and this strife in our heart? This enmity, this grudge in our heart. Why is he called us a liar? Class.
What's the question?
Why does the Most High call us a liar if we haven't addressed and solved the envying and the strife, the contentions, the anger and the resentment that we have in our heart? Why does he call us a liar?
Because maybe you've done stuff your way, not his way. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
It's cool. This is an open-ended class. Give me Psalms 85 and verse 10. We're going to hold James.
Psalms chapter 85 and verse 10.
And while we're doing that, someone give me, I need two definitions. I need mercy and I need peace. Psalms 85 and verse 10. Let me get that real quick, buddy. Now, we went over this a couple of weeks ago when a war was teaching in the New Testament about faithfulness. And I don't want to spoil it yet, but we're going to find out, yes, that mercy means faithfulness, but we're going to find out why it means faithfulness. So I did pull it last time, but we're getting some clarity into what this mercy actually means. Give me that mercy, give me the verse and then give me mercy definition.
Psalms chapter 85 verse 10 reads, mercy and truth are met together.
So mercy and truth go together. So the Most High is called us a liar if we have that strife and that envy in our hearts. The reason why he calls you a liar is because you don't have mercy. Now give me that mercy to go with that verse. Definition of mercy.
Mercy, that benevolence, mildness, or tenderness of heart, which disposes a person to overlook injury.
So mercy is the disposition of a heart to overlook injuries. So if I'm operating in the true spirit of the truth, if I'm operating in the spirit of Christ, I have to have the mindset to overlook injuries. Or what? Read.
Or to treat an offender better than he deserves.
When someone makes us feel some type of way, when someone does us wrong, when someone trespasses against us, when someone abuses our trust, are we looking at them to treat them better than what they deserve? No, not. Our mind isn't wired that way. Our mind goes into attack mode or defense mode. Right. I'm not looking at trying to, you sat here and lied to me and took $1,000 from me, and me, now I'm gonna go buy you Texas Roadhouse, and we're gonna be homeboys. That's not my first mentality. I need my money back. You crossed a boundary. That was my rent. We got beef now. We got strife. We got contention. My first mentality isn't gonna be, you know what? He's a good guy. Let me teach him the word of Yeshua.
Right.
Let me give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't know no better. That's the spirit of Christ, though. Didn't Christ say on the cross, forgive them, they don't know what they do? Mm-hmm. Now, they know what they're doing. They're putting a stake in my heart right now. They're putting thorns on my head. They're spitting on me. They're tearing my clothes. They don't know what they're doing? Mm-hmm. But Christ had the mentality to look at them like, you know what? They don't know. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. Wow. They're blind. They don't get it. They don't get the severity behind what they're doing. How many of us are operating in mercy? Or are we just operating in the truth, quote unquote? That's the form of godliness without the power thereof. That's the person that fakes the funk. Because I don't have the mercy to couple with the spirit of truth, to couple with the learning I'm doing, to couple with the examples I'm trying to follow. I exempt that part of my life. Yeah, I'll sit here and, I forgive you, but I don't forget. What do you mean you're going to forgive me but not forget? That means you didn't forgive me. I'm supposed to forgive and not look at you personal. So if you do me wrong again, hey, I gave you the benefit of the doubt. True forgiveness is where I'm going to put you in a position to where you can use me again. I'm going to put you in a position to where I can lose again. I'm risking myself again. That's true forgiveness. But I don't want to get too deep in that yet. Give me the next part of that verse.
Mercy and meekness is kind of intertwined?
Yes, exactly. Mercy and meekness go hand in hand.
Okay.
Give me the verse again.
Mercy and truth are met together.
Mercy and truth are met together. Read.
Righteousness and peace have kissed each other.
And righteousness and peace have kissed each other. So if I want to be righteous, I have to have peace. What does it mean to be in peace? Definition.
In a general sense, a state of quiet or tranquility, freedom from disturbance or agitation.
So the person that has peace is free from disturbance or agitation. So is an offense just a screaming match? Is offense just an extreme battle or an extreme argument? Or do I just get agitated by this person's existence? Just being around this person just gets under my skin.
And it could be silent, right?
It's silent hatred.
Yeah, silent.
It's that's why I said it's strife in your heart. You have war in your heart. You have quarrels in your heart. And it's only a matter of time before that quarrel in your heart comes out into life. We're going to find out right now. Before we do that, let that go. Let's go to James 3 and 15 through 16.
Come on, James chapter 3.
Shalom, brother. James chapter 3 and verse...
What, 14 again? You want 15?
No, give me did we not finish 14?
No, we finished that one.
Yeah, give me 15.
Come on, James 3 and 15. This wisdom descendeth not from above.
Now, hold on. Brother had a question. He says, is it wrong if we just cut relations with them? Can we forgive them and then just let them go from further contact with us? You know the problem with that is, because that's what we just read in that 2 Timothy 3 and 5, right? He says to shoot away from them, but the problem is, when you're in a camp setting, you can't do that. If a brother crosses me, if brother has a bad day, and he wants to be argumentative, he wants to be an offender, he wants to cuss you out all dang day, we're going to find out what Christ says about that. But if a brother wants to just be negative, just want to be off, I can't sit here and cut you off and never speak to you again.
Right.
I'm doing you an injustice. Now, if we're just talking about some people in the world that don't have any moral discipline, and they don't want to change, and they don't want to lock into the scriptures, that person you stay away from. Because all they're going to do is cause issues, unwanted issues in your life. You don't take them personal. I don't have any ill feelings with you, but we don't have to have a relation either. What relation with the sinner and the godly? There is no relation. So if you're not trying to be godly, I don't have to sit here and keep that tie with you. But I still don't take you personal. We're going to find out later, we're supposed to be peaceable, free from agitation with all men, right? That's everybody. That's in the world and in the truth. So to answer your question, brother, if you're in a camp setting when you're working with brothers, or your sister working with sisters, I can't see someone's obvious negative, and just not talk to them again. That's not acceptable either. Because now you become the offender. That's the next class. We'll hold that off. Read that again, James 3 and verse 16.
3 and 15.
15
This
count.
wisdom descendeth not from above.
So the wisdom of taking people personal, taking offenses personal, not forgiving, grudging, holding on to elements, holding on to wrongdoings, that's not spiritual. That's not biblical, and that's not from Christ. That's from Satan. You reading?
But is earthly, sensual.
It's earthly. It's what society teaches. It's how society operates. It's sensual. It's effeminate. It's soft. It's not spiritual. Read on.
Earthly, sensual, devilish.
At the end of the day, it comes from Satan. Because again, like we read in the sower that sowed the seeds, if you're not rooted, it's another opportunity for Satan to come in and sweep you away. All he needed to do was to put the right amount of offenses in your life, and you'll leave eventually. That's what he tried to do with Job. How many offenses can I throw in his life? How many times can I do him wrong? How many losses can he take before he decides I don't want to serve God anymore? None of us are going to the extent of the magnitude of what Job went through. But the little inconveniences in our life is enough to sway our hearts. The little offenses, the little contentions with brothers and sisters is enough to sway our hearts. Read on.
Verse 16. For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work.
When there's envying, when there's a comparing and contrasting going on, when there's strife, when I got secret enmity in my heart, when I have war in my mind, there is evil, there's confusion and every evil work. We always pull this verse, and we use it to show how difficult it is to, have someone overcome these offenses. I'm trying to spoil the verse, but might as well pull it. Proverbs, I have it in my notes. Proverbs 18 and verse 19. Proverbs 18 and verse 19. We're going to keep James. Con. All right, let's get it.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 19.
Uh-huh.
A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city.
Now we always pull this verse, and this is a true fact for the most part. Why is a brother offended harder to be won than a strong city? Meaning what? To get to this person, to get to the sympathetic side of this person, to get to the mercy of this side of this person, it's harder to do that than to overcome a strong city, to overcome Russia, to overcome America. It's more of a challenge to do that than to sit here and win a war. Why is it so difficult, class?
Because they put up a lot of different defenses. You know, you got a wall, you got barbed wire fence, you got a moat, you got many different defense mechanisms. You know, you become a natural critter come inside, outside. You know, you quit on people, you avoid people. Short answers, they get triggered.
But the defense mechanisms are a response. Why did they throw up defense mechanisms? Why did it not rather suffer to be defrauded and take low?
Because they're offended in pride.
Yes. They can get past how they feel. That's just the easiest answer. I can't get past how angry I am right now.
That's being offended, right?
Yeah.
Or how this situation made me feel, how you, person A or X, made me feel. How
God.
the situation made me feel.
I can't get past the offense you caused years ago. I can't get past the offense, the slandering of my name. I can't get past the talking about me. I can't get past the fact that you didn't give me a ride when I needed a ride, when I was down and out, but I gave you rides. I can't get past the little inconveniences. Yeah. It's not even the big stuff, it's the little stuff. The sly comment you made back in 2008, I can't get past that. So because I can't pass that, it don't matter how many times you come to me in my life and try to apologize.
Right.
You're not going to be able to penetrate that defense. Keep reading.
Because I'll never let that happen.
I'm not going to let it happen again, and it's definitely ain't going to happen from you again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let you do that to me again. You fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It ain't going to be no shame on me. I'm not going to get to the third time.
And the way you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
You fool, the third one is, what J. Cole says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 3 times.
Fool me, don't
the peace sign. Look, now I'm angry. Now I gotta retaliate. Now someone's gotta go out. Cause you sat here and fooled me 3 times. Nah, never again. You ain't gonna do me like that. That's the point. That's why they're harder to win than a strong city. Read on.
It says, and their contentions are like the bars of a castle.
Didn't we just read about the strife? The strife is the contentions. The strife is the reason why I can't get past this person's pride. I can't get past this person's anger. You know what happens when I'm offended? Like we said earlier, when I'm offended, what do I have to do? What's a natural reaction of man to do or woman to do? You got to feel the same thing I'm feeling. If you hurt my feelings, I'm going to hurt your feelings. Keep reading.
Verse 20.
Yep.
It says, a man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth.
Now, when you look at the scriptures, the belly represents the lust. The belly isn't necessarily a positive thing. It says the man's belly will be satisfied with the fruit of their mouth. Read on. Of his mouth.
Of his mouth. It says, and with the increase of his lips shall he be filled.
So you know what happens when I'm offended? The only way to pacify my wrath is I got to feed you with my words.
Yeah.
The only way for the wife to get past how her husband made her feel, I'm going to start calling you out your name. I'm going to start bringing out all your insecurities. I'm going to call you by your Jake name. I'm going to tell you this person was better than you. I should have stayed with this person instead. I'm going to tell you being here was a mistake. Everything that you're building doesn't mean nothing to me. Because that's the only way I can feel satisfied with this suffering, this offense you just gave me. Just because you didn't want to wash dishes, and just because I didn't want to watch class, and you checking me because I didn't take no notes, now I'm going to start calling you out your name. A small thing blew up to a major confrontation. Now I want to go back home. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't know if this is the right thing to do. I think we made a mistake. I'm only going to be satisfied with my words when the harmful things come out of my mouth. Read on.
It says, you want 21?
Yes, sir.
Verse 21. It says, death and life are in the power of the tongue.
The words you say have weight. What comes out of your mouth will end or establish relationships. Death and life, destruction. Look, the reality is this. Why do you think cyber bullying is such a big thing? Because people would literally end their lives because they felt bullied. Because they're tired of being talked about. They're tired of being made fun of. You don't see the impact behind someone's words can change and alter their perspective of not only or how they look at themselves, but also, do I even want to be in this world anymore? You can sit here and literally murder someone with your mouth. Do we consider these when we're getting offended? Why do we have to take to such an extent? Why do we have to seek out vengeance when we're just slightly inconvenienced? Even if it's not a slight inconvenience, can I just take low and accept the fact, you know what? The Most High is going to justify me. Because is he not a revenger? Will he not look after you? Do we believe that? This is why that mercy is faithfulness. Because if I have faith in Christ, I understand, you know, whatever you put me through, whatever experience and trauma you put me through, the Most High's got you. I don't got to do anything to you. I don't even got to say anything to you. The forgiveness on our end is not taking you personal. And not holding a grudge against you. Not seeking inner revenge. Keep reading.
It says,
from the top.
Proverbs 18 and 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Yep.
And they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
What do you love? You know how you can tell what someone loves? What comes out of their mouth. And how often it comes out of their mouth. When they're offended, this is why Matthew 18 and 7 said this. No, don't go there. My fault. It says, offenses must needs be to come. They have to happen. Because when they come, it reveals, like you said, what is in my mind. What caliber, yes, but caliber, yes, but also where am I at right now with the Most High? What about last year? The same offense I could have took to the chin, and not took you personal, and not held a grudge, and not hated you. But now, because I stopped studying, stopped counseling, stopped going to class, I can't handle the same adversities anymore. I can't handle the same stress anymore. I can't handle the same inconveniences anymore. He's always testing us to see where we're at. Have we fallen off in the faith? Have we fallen off in our studying? It's going to be revealed in the next offense. And the next inconvenience. Read it from the top one more time.
Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Which is why you got to be conscious of what comes out of your mouth. Because Christ said, it was in Mark 7. Don't go there. Mark 7:21, I believe. It says, what comes out of your mouth defiles the man. What comes out of your mouth is where you're marked as guilty. But you started in the mind. That strife was already in the mind before it came out. Can we convert and check the mind before it comes out of the mouth? Let that go. Let's go to Job 15 and verse 12 through 13.
Job chapter 15 and verse 12.
Job.
Why does thine heart carry thee away?
One second, brother. One second. Job 15 and verse 12. Read that back. That's crazy. Read it one time.
Job 15 verse 12. Why does thine heart carry thee away?
Why do you let your mind carry you away? Why do you get carried away? Why do we have to follow up with a salakia after what slipped out of my mouth? Damn, I didn't mean to go that far. My fault. Why do you let your mind and your pride and your lust carry you away? Read on.
And what do thy eyes wink at?
You know why? Because you wink at that part of your development. Because that part of your development isn't as serious as other parts of your development. All the parts should be important. The diet should be important. Israel will sit here and do research over every single ingredient, make sure there's no pork in their food. Everything's got to be kosher. They'll put fringes on every border on their garments because they gotta look the part. Or they'll work on their charity. Charity's great. They'll be the most charitable brother in the world, the most charitable sister in the world. But when it comes to them being offended, all that charity go out the window. All those good deeds is irrelevant. Now I got something to say. You got to hear my opinions. I'm tired of being used. I'm tired of being stepped on. I'm tired of the offenses. Read on.
That thou turnest thy spirit against the Most High.
Because what you don't realize is when you let your heart get carried away, when you weak on that deficiency, that part in your spirit that can't control their mouth, can't control their offenses, and is quick to offend others, it says, you turn your spirit against the Most High. You gotta remember, that he that despises not man but the Most High. Just because you have an issue with a man doesn't mean you really have an issue with that man. Because the Most High put you with that man. The Most High put you with that woman. You're arguing with the woman, you're arguing with the man, but that relationship was a match made in heaven. That brother that you got an issue with was a match made in heaven because it brings out the worst in you. It lets you know where you're at. It lets you know what you need to work on. Why you let your spirit, your deficiencies, remove you from salvation? Because you haven't embraced the conversion aspect yet. You haven't accepted, I got to grow in this fast. I don't got time. I got to be expedient. I got to be 40 years ago when it comes to my way of looking at men. When it comes to my way of looking at women. Keep reading. Go from the top. Yeah.
God, Job 15:13. That thou turnest thy spirit against the Most High, and lettest such words go out of thy mouth.
Because those offensive words, just because you were offended, doesn't give you the right to offend others in a response. Those offensive words have made you now the offender. You are now the enemy of the Most High. Because you didn't take that low. You didn't take that offense. And be meek and be merciful. You didn't stay at peace with the offense. Let that go. Let's go to James 3:17. Well, actually, before we do that, let's go to Matthew 12:26. My fault. Matthew 12:36.
God. Matthew 12, verse 26.
Right.
Yep. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
Hold on. That's not what I wanted. It was 36. Salakia. It was 36.
36.
Yeah, my fault.
Yeah. Matthew 12, verse 36.
That typo.
But I say unto you, that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
The Most High is going to have you give an account. You got to testify why you said what you said to his child. We're going to read it later. Maybe today. Or maybe next class. But if you offend his child, because reality is this. Even if you're upset, even if they made you feel the type of way, that's still a child of the Most High. Right. So just because they made a mistake doesn't give me the right to retaliate, to rebuke, and make them feel small, make them feel less than. That's a child of the Most High. He chose that man. He chose that woman. Why are you so quick to hurt and harm them? Because your feelings got hurt over a small matter. This is what our people do continuously. And we don't take it to heart that the Most High is judging every idle word that comes out of our mouth. And also, this mentality is sensual and devilish. This is not wisdom. This is not a spiritually mature person. And it's not a person that's been converted to have the mind of a little child. That's free from malice, free from grudges, free from resentment. They're lacking their conversion process. And that's why they may not make the kingdom. If you don't change, Christ said you won't make the kingdom if you're not converted. Let that go. Let's go to James 3:17.
137.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, come.
Verse 37. For by thy words thou shalt be justified.
So by thy words, like we just read in James 3:13, the wise man will show his good works through his words of meekness, or through. Read that, James 3:13. I'm butchering it right there. Hold that real quick.
James
3 and 13.
Uh-huh.
Who is a wise man and endued with knowledge amongst you? Let him show out of good conversation his works with meekness of wisdom.
So his good conversation can be seen, and that is why his good conversation that matches with his meekness, the fact that he can sit here and respond to somebody in a positive outlook and not take you personal, that is why he is justified. Contrary to the sensual person, read on, Nathaniel.
God, it says, for by thy words thou shalt be justified, and for by thy words thou shalt be condemned.
Contrary to the sensual person that can't get past their feelings, can't get past the offenses, they're going to be condemned for damnation. They're going to be judged because they decided mercy and love and meekness is not in my spiritual growth plan. My spiritual growth planner does not include mercy. It does not include patience. We're going to find out what patience means too. But it does not include forgiveness. I work on everything else but that aspect. But you can't have the truth and not have the merciful part. You can't sit here and pray to the Most High, forgive my trespasses, and I didn't forget the trespasses of others. Is that not what we pray for in Hebrew? In Matthew 7? Forgive my debts forgive my debts and I'll forgive my debtors. Those that do me wrong, can I sit there and look at them in a pure light? Because guess what? The Most High is looking at you in a pure light. He's giving you the second chance. Mercy means to do someone better than what they deserve. Is that not what Ezra 9:13 says? Give me that real quick, just for that mentality. Ezra 9:13. Ezra in the Bible.
Ezra in the Bible.
God. Ezra chapter 9, verse 13 reads, and after all that is come upon us for our evil deeds, and for our great trespass, seeing that thou, our power, hast punished us less than our iniquities deserve, and has given us such deliverance as this.
So we can acknowledge that the Most High has not stung me as hard as I may have deserved it. He has not punished me as much as I should actually be punished for. Because some of our sins deserve death. If we were going by the Old Testament, none of us would be here right now. Put it like that. We wouldn't make it. There's no opportunity for salvation. After so many sacrifices, we would have been stoned to death. Because we just can't get it right. Or we would have been put in captivity. So the fact that the Most High took his mercy and opportunity to correct our mistakes, to right our wrongs. Why can't we look at our neighbor, the ones that constantly do us wrong, still a little less than what we do, to the Most High? Can we look at them in a pure outlook and not take them personal and accept the fact that the Most High allowed that to happen to us in the first place?
And you gotta love them.
And you gotta love them and respect them and love them as yourself. God, that's the mercy in which Christ is seeking for. That's dwelling in truth. Let that go. Let that go. Give me James 3:17.
James chapter 3, verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
So the wisdom that is from above is first pure. Does not Titus what was that? 3:13? Say to the pure all things are pure, but to the no. To the no.
Titus 2.
Read that real quick. Titus 2:13. I'm butchering verse of this. Slack y'all.
Oh, 1 and 15. I'm sorry. It's Titus 1 and 15.
1 and 15. Yeah, exactly.
Titus chapter 1, verse 15.
That's funny.
Unto the pure, all things are pure.
Uh-huh.
But unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure.
So unto the pure, all things are pure. Does it mean some events? Does it mean some circumstances? Does it mean some people are pure? Does it mean some days are good?
What is that? Titus 1.
Titus chapter 1, verse 15.
How about when I didn't get as many off days as I thought I should got? Is it still pure? Do I count it all joy when I go into diverse temptations? Am I smiling now that I get to live the word of Yeshua? Am I having happy faces? Are we counseling, having great biblical conversations? Or am I secretly complaining? Do I have strife in my heart? Am I looking for the next opportunity to get in an argument? Am I holding a grudge? Read it again.
Titus chapter 1, verse 15. Unto the pure, all things are pure.
So it's not an occasional pureness. if I want to be, and I want to operate in the Spirit of Christ, if I want to operate in wisdom, if I want to be a mature man or woman in Christ, everything's pure. Every situation is the best outcome. Everything's the way it's supposed to be. Everything, every event got me where I am right now. My life circumstances, the people, the events, the struggles, the hardships, the ups and downs, got my spirit where I am right now. And without those events, maybe I wouldn't be here. Without those people, maybe I wouldn't cleave into the Lord right now. How about the Most High puts us through certain things because He knows that will be the last straw for us to come to the Most High. He'll bring us on our lowest point so we can serve Christ. Because when we're living good, we can't see no flaws. The law is for the lawless. The law is for those. The law is for those that need a physician. But if I don't think I'm sick, then I'm never going to come to the Most High. If I can't see myself and I can't be tired of where I'm at right now, I'll never serve God. So the Most High got to bring us to the bottom, so to see where we're at and to allow us to get closer to Him. Let's go back to that James 3 and verse 17.
James 3 verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure.
So the wisdom that's from above is pure all the time. It's never defiled. It can combat negative thoughts. It doesn't succumb to it. We're not sitting here saying you're never going to have a negative thought in the truth. That's not even realistic. But when I have that negative thought, do I entertain it? Holding a grudge is I've entertained that manifested thought for a very long time. When I get the offense, can I combat that idea with many scriptures, with many counsels? What would Christ do in this situation? I know it's a corny line, but it's a reality. If Christ got cussed out, how would He respond right now? Did He not say when He was reviled, He reviled back not? It was no guile. There was no guile. How about all the prophets? When the prophets had to turn their back to the smiters, like Isaiah, did he turn back and sock him in his face and spit on him? When Paul was getting stoned to death, did he not go back to the same spot and teach again? How did the greats operate when they were offended? When life wasn't peaches and roses for them, when it wasn't prosperous for them, when it didn't look good for them, when they were offended daily. This is the mentality of gold standard. This is the highest calling. This is when we talk about when we say strive for the spiritual gifts, covet the best gifts. That's the only thing we should be covering in the first place. I want to be like that person. I want to be like this person in the scripture right here. I want to be like Moses, the meekest man on earth. Can I strive for this versus I want what this man has? I want what this woman has in a carnal sense. I want her comforts. I want her home. I want her household. I want his luxury. I want his cars. I want his lifestyle. I want his style. Read on. James 3 and 17.
James 3 and 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable.
Peaceable. We just read definition of peace. It says freedom from disturbance or agitation. A godly man does not get disturbed mentally. A godly man does not get frustrated. Let's prove it. Ecclesiastes 16 and 13.
Yes.
And the Apocrypha.
Ecclesiastes 16 and verse 33. 13. Slot. The sinner shall not escape with his spoil, and the patience of the godly.
It says the patience of the godly. We went over 2 weeks ago that patience was what class in the wars class? What was patience in the scriptures? No. What was patience?
Tribulation brings patience.
Yeah, but what is the patience that he went over in James 1? The patience was your faithfulness. How you wait. Your patience is your faithfulness. So it says the patience or the faithfulness of the godly. Read.
The patience of the godly shall not be frustrated.
They don't get frustrated. They don't allow circumstances. They don't allow people. They don't allow events to get in their head and to cloud their judgment and cloud their mind. They're not having a whole lot of salakias when it comes to their speech patterns. They're not battling strong enmity, murder thoughts. A lot of people have murder thoughts when shit goes bad. This gotta get out of here. I can't even stand this man. I don't want to look at this guy's direction. His scent throws me off. It ruins my day. I am now agitated. It's now a bad morning. It's 5 a.m. I'm already mad. I'm already angry. It says the patient of the godly does not frustrate. Let that go back to James 3 and
3.
No. Slack it. Go down to 14.
Concept.
Oh my goodness, I forgot about this. 14.
Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, chapter 16 and verse 14.
So it says the patience of the godly, the faithfulness of the godly does not frustrate. Read. But what do they do in exchange? Read.
Make way for every work of mercy.
They make way for every work of mercy. What does that mean? They look for every opportunity to be merciful, to not take you personal, and to treat you better than what you deserve. That's the faithfulness of the godly. But the only way to get to that point is I don't ever take you personal. I don't look at the mistake and associate it with the person. Can I sit here and see the deficiency in somebody and just acknowledge that's just a spirit on them? If I look at the spirit and not the person, I can move on with my day. He's got a pride spirit on him. Okay, that's Satan. Satan's trying to get me. Satan's trying to get me with his pride right now. Satan's trying to get me with his unnatural affection. Let me acknowledge that and not take this guy personal. Because you know what? If I can love him on his best days, then I can love him on his worst. Because that's not that person. That's not the man I love. That's not the woman I love. When they're acting like a demon, when they're off, when they're being straight contrary, when they're being unnatural, like this is not even you, bro. Like, what's going on with you? That's not them. That's a spirit on them. If I can do that, I can make every way for mercy. Read on.
Make way for every work of mercy. For every man shall find according to his works.
Every man shall find according to his works. Because guess what? If I'm merciful, and I'm known for being merciful, when I make a mistake, when it's going to happen, when you're the mess up, when people got to counsel about you, they're quick to remember all your merciful times. They're quick to remember all the times you forgave them. They'll be able to acknowledge, you know what? He's having a bad day. The Most High will put that spirit on them.
Or vice versa.
What do you mean by versa?
All the times you wasn't merciful.
Exactly. Or if you've never been merciful, then guess what? You ain't getting no shadow of doubt. Nah, bro, you off. You didn't hear my side. I don't want to hear your side. You're off. I'm already gonna believe you're off.
Just cussed me out yesterday.
God.
Yeah. Right.
Because your pattern, your works don't align with mercy, the Most High is not gonna allow mercy to be associated with your name. It still comes from the Most High. How men perceive you still comes from the Most High. And can I accept the fact that it's my best interest to forgive you for the sake of my sanity? Because who wants to hold a grudge all day? You know how mentally taxing it is to just be angry all day long? It's already hot outside. I'm already sweating. I'm working hard. The day's beating me up. And I gotta hold on to this grudge that this brother did to me or this sister did to me three weeks ago.
You're trying to
Relive it over and over.
You keep every time I see your face, I relive it.
Yeah.
Damn! I can't get over it. That's miserable. I don't know about it. For me, that's miserable. I'm guilty of it. That's miserable. That shit's not cool. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
I'm already battling myself, and now I gotta battle how to say positive with this guy. But every time I have a positive thought, I got 15 negative ones. Yeah, maybe he's having a bad day. No, man, this guy's always off. He's always negative. You know, this guy's a pattern. He did it on purpose. No. That's the mentality. When you're losing the battle, that's the mentality you're going through right there. All the verses just suddenly just go out of your mind. I can't think of one anymore. I gotta call him. Hey, what's that verse about patience? I don't. I need that verse right now. It's somewhere in Luke. It's somewhere in James, bro. Well, James like 6. I don't know, bro. James 15. There's no 15, bro. We talking about that. I somewhere, bro. I don't know, man. What you got for me, man? You know. That's when you're in the losing battle right there.
Right.
Your thoughts are now consuming you. Because I haven't gotten over me. Because I've let the offense now change and impress my spirit. Change and impress my personality. Let that go. We're back in that James. Back in that James 3 and 17.
James 3 verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable.
So the wisdom above is first pure and peaceable. Now give me Romans 12 and verse 18.
12 13.
12 and 18.
Romans 12, verse 18. If it be possible, as much lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
So the disciples, Paul understood this is a very challenging task. But if it's in you, if you got the spirit, if you got this high level of virtue, if you got gold standard of meekness and mercy, be peaceable with everybody. That's the end goal. That's the mentality of Christ. We're always trying to find, what are the best works? How can we identify? How can we quantify it? We can quantify dealing with offenses through Christ. That's quantifiable. Christ being stoned and killed still looked at the situation in the most pure outlook. If I can get to the point where I'm peaceful with everybody, no matter the trauma, no matter the circumstance, no matter the aggravation, and not take you personal and accept that's what the Most High has me at right now, and He'll handle the rest, He'll revenge me, He'll comfort me in the scriptures. If I can get to that point, I can grow. That's highest level we can get to. Let that go. Let's go back to James 3 and 17.
James 3 and 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated.
This person is pure and gentle and easy to be entreated. When you look at the definition of gentle, gentle means meek. Gentle, the spirit of gentleness is meekness. Now give me 1 Peter 2:19 through 23.
First Peter chapter 2 and verse 19 reads, For this is thankworthy.
This action is thankworthy. What's thankworthy, my woman?
Thankworthy?
No, I'm asking you. Read on. That's what I meant. I know I threw a little monkey wrench in there and how we operate. My fault, man. It said this is thankworthy. Read.
For this is thankworthy. If a man for conscience towards the Most High endure grief.
If a man for consciousness towards the Most High, because I know the Most High is watching me right now. I know I got to be accountable for my words. I got to be accountable for my next move right now. I'm currently offended. Now I'm on the clock. Like in the NBA. I'm on the clock. What I do next is going to dictate what the Most High does to me. So for conscience of the Most High, I should do what? Read. Endure what?
Endure grief.
I have to endure grief. And what?
Suffering.
And suffering wrongfully. I didn't deserve what happened to me. I didn't deserve this outcome of my life. I didn't deserve you speaking to me this way. I didn't deserve you slandering my name. I didn't deserve any of this. But for conscience of the Most High, I'm going to choose my words very wisely. I'm going to choose how I go forth with a situation because I know the Most High is the one that matters at the end of the day. Well, His opinion of me matters more than anybody else. So to protect His opinion of me, I'm going to make sure I keep myself together. I'm going to hold all that resentment and get rid of it. Because He's also watching my thoughts. Just because I don't say anything don't mean I'm steering clear because my thoughts is all crazy.
This is specifically when you get offended.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because an offense encompasses a wide range of things. Offense isn't just somebody hurting you physically, mentally, or spiritually. It could be a circumstance. It could just be the sun. It's hot. The sun is offensive. The weather is offensive.
Oh yeah, I don't care.
Bro, we don't leave here at 10 o'clock. It's still going to be 99 degrees outside. There's no sun. Why is it still hot? That's offensive. But can I take that, suffer wrongfully, not take it personal, instead of a smile on my face, instead of a clear conscience and a pure outlook. That's thankworthy. Read on.
Come, suffering wrongfully. For what glory is it, if when ye be buffeted for your faults?
So there's no glory and you being made feel bad and you taking it to the chin when you did the wrong action. If I'm being corrected for a mistake I made, and I'm going to start pulling this verse in my head, I suffer wrongfully. No, you're suffering rightfully. You deserve that. You deserve that whole check. You deserve to get blazed up. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about when you were innocent, when you were falsely accused of something, when someone lied to you, and you take it to the chin and don't take them personal. Read on.
Come, ye be buffeted for your faults. Ye shall take it patiently.
There's no glory in the fact that, okay, I'm patient, I'm faithful, I'm not gonna revile back. I'll take the chin. Bro, you made the mistake. You were off. I caught you red-handed. Take it and let's move on. That's not what the Most High is honoring. Read on.
But if, when ye do well,
when you were doing the right thing, when you were being spiritual, you went to class, you dedicated your whole life to this, and you're still suffering, you're still losing, people are still using you. Read on.
And suffer for it.
And you have to suffer for it and take it to the chin and now look at the Most High messed up. Now look at the people around you messed up. Read on.
Ye take it patiently.
Mm-hmm.
This is acceptable with the Most High.
If I can take the worst of the worst and suffer for it patiently and not look at the Most High in an evil outlook and not look at the people around me in a negative mindset, this is what the Most High finds honor in. This is what you should glory in. That level of meekness and temperance and mercy is what the Most High finds as gold caliber, silver caliber. That's thankworthy. Read on.
Come. Verse 21. For even hereunto were ye called, because Yahushua also suffered for us, leaving us an example that ye shall follow his steps.
And that's what we've been talking about. Because Christ did it, and he had the ability to suffer wrongfully. He had the ability to be hated by everybody. He had the ability to sit here and be killed and not look at you personal. Because he could do it, we could do it. Because he gave us a template. He gave us the example of how to do it. And not only him, but the disciples after him that followed like Christ. Like Paul said, be followers of me like I am of Christ. Because Paul was able to take the afflictions, take the persecution, take the hatred, take the offenses daily, and not look at people personally. These are the spirits and the examples and the men and the people that we should be aspiring to follow after. Read on.
Verse 22. Who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth.
Because when he was offended, he wasn't looking to offend back with his tongue. He wasn't looking to have his belly satisfied with all the offensive terminology he's been piling up. You don't think men and women can pile up negative all day if they wish? Well, I'm around you every day, and I see your negative every single day. You don't think I can sit here and make a collection and just verbally abuse you? It's too easy to see. You can't hide your flaws from your wife. You can't hide your flaws from your husband. You can't hide your flaws from brothers who are with you in the truck every day. It's too obvious. But instead of reviling back, instead of throwing those offenses back in your face, he ate it. He kept his mouth shut. And he forgave him. Read on.
Come. Who, when he was reviled not again.
He didn't give it back in return. He didn't mock you in return. You mocked me, I'm not going to mock you back. I get it. You hate me, I don't hate you. You got something to say? I got nothing to say. Follow Christ. Follow the Lord. That's what I got to say. Follow the Lord. Hey, brother, you know what? Here's a scripture. You know what I mean? That's it. If you want to read it, I understand. If you do, Most High bless. Keep reading.
When he suffered, he threatened not.
Is this not the most unnatural thing ever? When I'm suffering, do I not want to threaten back? Do I not want to retaliate? They call it fight or flight, right? I was talking about the brother earlier. When we're going through dangerous circumstances, I don't know if you ever felt this. If you're in an argument with somebody, does not your blood temperature rise?
Yeah.
Your heart rate start picking up.
Depending on the
You start seeing red. You start seeing red a little bit. The red is, well, I look. You start seeing red. Your conscience is no longer clear. Your mind, your thoughts are all over the place.
threatening sentences.
The threats, the threats, because your mind is now entering a state of fight or flight. Yeah, there don't even have to be any fights or fist fights involved. It's just the fact that someone raised their voice. Now my adrenaline is pumping. Because I got to make a decision. Do I run away? Or do I sit here and eat this? And that's a very, very hard thing to do. Is just take the check and not say nothing back and not take you personal.
Gold standard.
Christ would say nothing right now. Paul would take it and say, you know what, I deserve this. Are you serious? I'm gonna tell myself I deserve this right now. Bro, we don't want to say that. Huh? We don't want to say that. In our head, we don't deserve this mistreatment. My offense wasn't that bad. Why do I have to feel this? This is how people naturally react. But this is why Christ was a superior example, because he didn't react this way. He didn't threaten back. He didn't take it personal. Keep reading.
Come, revile not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
He committed himself to judging righteously, like Christ said, as I hear, I judge. But other than that, he wasn't taking anything else personal. I'm going to give you scriptures. I'm going to give you the parables. I'm going to give you the stories. If you choose to follow it, cool. If you don't, I understand. If you hate me for it, oh well. Didn't Christ say it's a blessing if you're hated for my name's sake? But when it's actually time to be hated for my name's sake, we don't want to be hated for his name's sake. Because to be hated doesn't just mean someone says, I hate you, brother. No, it means there's going to be some contentions. There's going to be some arguments. There's going to be some persecutions. There's going to be some threats. I don't want to see your face. Can we take that? Most people aren't comfortable with being hated. We're sociable creatures. We want to be liked. It's in us to be liked and respected by everybody. But can you sit here and take disrespect and take the verbal abuse and not take it personal? This is what we're aspiring for. Let that go.
Can I ask a question? This may be off the subject a little, but seeing the fact that at the end of it all, you're going to give an account of your words, everything that you said, everything that you thought. So when things come up and arise like you're talking about and make you hot and stuff like this, is this a test?
It's all a test. And that's why I said offenses need to come. Because
I mean, literally, in his
it's a spirit. Look, the fact that I'm being offended, one, the most I want to see. Well, the most important is the most I want to see how I react in the situation. The fact that he allowed it to happen to me wasn't by chance. It wasn't a coincidence that you had the child that you had. It wasn't a coincidence that you have the adult life that you had, that you came across the people that you had. Everything was orchestrated the way the Most High had it. There was no flaw in his creation. There's no flaw in his plan. So if I can understand there's no flaw, then I can understand what he's putting me through right now is to see where I'm at. I've accepted I'm serving the Most High now. I've accepted I want to hear his word. Is that not what Ecclesiastes 2:1 says?
You want it?
Huh?
Ecclesiastes 2:1. My son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation.
If you want to serve the Lord, he's giving us a warning. Prepare yourself for temptation. Prepare that level of faithfulness that you say you got, that zeal that you say you got to be exposed. Because like we said with the seed, the person that loved the word, quote unquote. Well, the funny part was he had joy in the word, but he didn't love the word. That's what we're going to find out. If I'm getting offended, it reflects my love for Christ. I don't want to jump at that. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it.
Because I thought that was opinion, but it is a fact.
It's a fact.
He looks at it.
He's watching how you respond. Now, that doesn't mean the offender gets away with it either. Because just because I got to be the most meek person in the world doesn't mean that offender gets off scot-free. They got to answer for that. They got damnation. I don't want to spoil that class either because that's coming. But they don't get scot-free. He justifies and he's a revenger. But before he does that, I got to see where my servant's at. Because he said he wanted to serve Christ. Let that go. Give me what you got, Yoab?
No, it was just definition of hate. It was crazy.
Yeah, what you got? What you got in hate?
Definition of hate. Definition 2. It says
In Scripture, hate. In Scripture, it signifies to love less.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Oh, to hate means to love less.
It's not. It's not even if it's extreme. Like, oh, I hate you. It's just okay. You did this or this happened. I love you less now. I have less. Well, you good.
Well, I was it. How does someone show they love less? They don't call as much.
Yeah.
They're not smiling when they see you no more.
I'm not giving
The
that
jokes have now suddenly stopped.
Wow.
Y'all were known for having jokes with each other. Y'all always was joking around. All of a sudden, it's real business and serious. No smiles. No fun. All that is gone. However the relationship started has now shifted slowly. It's now uncomfortable. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. You got this awkward tension around that person. That's showing you're loving less. That's showing there's hatred there. There's enmity there. There's a grudge there that hasn't been solved. There's a trespass that has not been addressed. And I'm harboring it. And it's going to keep fueling. And you know what's going to happen? It's going to blow up because the next trespass is coming. Christ said you can be trespassed 7 times 70. And you still got to forgive. So what does that mean? Men are prone to offend. Men are prone to offend you. Intentionally or purposely. That's just what it is. So let that go. Let's go back to James 3:17.
James chapter 3 and verse 17. But the wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, and easy to be entreated.
You know what it means to be easy to be entreated? It means easy to be used. The spiritual person is easy or willing to be used. That's spiritual wisdom right there. Read on.
Full of mercy and good fruits.
Full of mercy and good fruits. Read on.
Without partiality.
You know what it means without partiality? I'm not partial in some parts of my development. I'm not partial in forgiving some men of the same offense versus other men. I'm a selective forgiver. I've been through the circumstance several times because this person gives me a little more gifts, or he gives me a little more time, or he talks to me a little more. I'll let him off the hook a little easier than the person that I don't really see. The person I'm not really around all the time. That I don't really know. I don't understand them yet. I don't want to understand them. I'm quick to judge. I'll drop down the hammer for that person, but for my homeboy, my twin flame. That's my brother. That's my brother for life. Or my homegirl, my sister that I'll ride or die with. If we was in the world, we would have been besties. When it comes to those that we don't really mesh as well, we don't have the same conversation, we don't like the same things, my judgment starts being a little partial. I don't forgive as much. Right. You can't be partial either. And your mercy. If your standard is one way, then it better be one way for everybody. If you're merciful for certain extents or certain attributes or certain things or in circumstances, when that same thing arises, you can't be like, man, well, who did it? Who made the mistake? Nah, drop it. Really 250. Damn, you only gave me 50 for that. Well, he's off. He's wicked. He's just extra negative than you were. He did. You didn't know no better. He knew better. Nah, bro. You knew too. Nah, let's not do that. Sorry. Read on.
Without partiality and without hypocrisy.
So what does it mean to be a hypocrite? We're going to find out. Ecclesiastes 32 and verse 15.
Ecclesiastes chapter 32 and verse 15 reads, He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith.
He that seeketh the law shall be filled therewith. Meaning what? If I seek the understanding of the Most High, I'm going to be filled with. that's my only desire, that's what I'm going to get. Read on.
But the hypocrite
will do what?
Will be offended thereat.
So the hypocrite will be offended by the law. The hypocrite will be offended when someone is pushing them for spiritual exhortation. The Most High calls the hypocrite. If I sit here and say I love God and I want to learn God, but when it's time to actually learn about God, through the way He wants to learn about God, I am now offended. I got something to say. I don't like the way it came out. You pull the verse, you show the scriptures, but I don't like it. That is the hypocrisy we're talking about. And it's not just saying, like the Pharisees encompass hypocrisy too, but it's not just saying, the Pharisees that looked the part on the outside, but inside they were full of dead men's bones. It's not just saying that, meaning their mentality was off. It's just saying, I don't even want to hear the word. When it's directed at me and my spiritual growth, I don't want to hear it no more. I got an issue with it. What you got? Let that go. Let's go to, say in the same chapter, same book, Ecclesiastes 10 and verse 25. He said that mentality is not biblical. That's not wisdom. That's sensual. 10 and verse 25.
Ecclesiasticus, chapter 10, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
It says, unto the servant that is wise shall they be that are free to do service.
I got they are free to do service.
Okay, so
I don't know, it may be different.
it's okay. It's okay. Ecclesiastes 10 and 25. Unto the servant that is wise shall they that are free do service.
So the servant that's wise, they that are free, that have the opportunity to help out and extend, they'll be more inclined to extend to the person that's wise, that operates in wisdom, that operates in these spiritual traits that we've shown. The pureness, the peaceful, the gentle, the easy being treated, full of mercy, full of good fruits, without partiality. People will be more likely to extend and do service and give you and be charitable to that person versus the hypocrite, versus the bitter person that's always envying, always got strife, always got contention. Right? Read on.
It says, and he that hath knowledge.
So he that hath knowledge, remember, we've been talking about and discerning who's spiritual, who's got wisdom, and who don't. It is he that got wisdom, he that has knowledge, does what?
Will not grudge when he is reformed.
He that has knowledge will not grudge, will not be offended, will not have enmity, will not have hatred when he is reformed. When he's pushed for reformation. When he's pushed for a conversion. The other person is the hypocrite. The wise man won't hold a grudge, but the sensual man will be offended thereat. Let that go. Does that make sense?
He's more rooted in the word, so he knows what to do when things like this arise.
Exactly, because you know what, the word wasn't a phase for him.
Okay.
The other person, it was a phase. It was fun at first. It was sweet to the taste, but when it got bitter to the belly, he didn't like that taste no more. He didn't like that flavor. So when we're dealing with the spiritual man, they can take the rebuke, they can take the reformation, the correction, and not hold a grudge. Let that go. Go to James 3 and 18 now.
You don't want verse 28.
I didn't have it on here. What you got on 28? You got it. Break it down.
Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 28. It says, my son, glorify thy soul in meekness, and give it honor according to the dignity thereof.
Break it down.
Okay, so when it says, my son, glorify thy soul in meekness, we want to when we're offended, we want to be glorified in different things. But if I want to be glorified, if I take any glory in anything, I should have glory in how meekness I can be, how I can get offended, how much stuff I can take and genuinely let it go, how much I can let the stuff just fall off my back, wash off my back. Okay, you said this about me, I'm gonna let it go, and I'm not gonna get upset when the next situation occurs. Then it says, to finish, it says, and give it honor according to the dignity of. The definition of dignity says true honor, nobleness, or evaluation of mind.
So that is a superior example. And that right there, virtue-wise, is something we should feel good about, have pride in. Not how slick we are with our words. Not how many comebacks we got. It's the truth. We should have pride, and we should be happy that I can sit here and take a lot of BS and not take it personal. What you got?
I sent you something on your point.
I didn't get it, but you can read it.
It's Ecclesiastes 5:1.
Ecclesiastes 5.
Get it. Break it down.
It's Ecclesiastes 5:1. It says, "Keep thy foot when thou goest to the house of the Lord." So when we're dealing with our people, that keeping your foot is the things that you learn, the virtues that you have, the understanding of the people that you're around. He says to know those that you labor amongst. So have an understanding of the mercy and the virtues that the Most High is wants you to present yourself as when you're dealing with your people.
Would you say keeping your foot is making sure you don't stumble in Christ?
Come.
Okay. What you got?
And not falling short based off of a snare or an offense.
Come.
So he says, and be more ready to hear, to be listened, not so reactive, but just to understand. Because the Most High, Christ said, "First I hear, then I judge." So don't be so quick to react, but rather to hear.
Come.
He says, then to give sacrifices of fools. If you break down the sacrifices of fools, then you get where where a person actually becomes cold, formal, boring, and they also become mechanical. They start to love less. They're just going through the motions.
Oh man, yeah, you got to emphasize that part. They're going through the motions.
Going through the motions.
That's the key point. You know what? When I get offended, part of our defense mechanism is I'm just going to give you bare bones spirit. I'm here in the flesh, but my mind is 1,000 galaxies away right now. You don't got me. That is the hate. You love less. Because I've decided, you know what? You're not listening to me. So, because I'm not getting what I want, you're not going to get what you want.
Ain't nobody
and nobody gonna be happy this month. Nobody's going to be happy.
And most of this is said in your mind.
Yeah,
Really.
it's said in your mind, but your actions present it.
Yeah.
You don't even got to say it out loud. Your actions show, hey, what's going on with you? None. Nothing's wrong? Nah. You go to the room, lock the door. Hey, you want to talk? No. Turn the shower on. Blast loud music. I know this is coming from experience, so I think I understand how this angle is going. Read on, sir.
And it also says out of obligation or routine. I gotta say what's up. So I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna go through this. And so those are the sacrifices of the fools.
Oh man.
He says, and be ready to hear, than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. That's giving your brother the benefit of the doubt. That's being merciful. And I say, you know what? He might not even be meaning to offend me.
Yeah.
He might just be having a bad day. He might just be going through it. That just might be a virtue he ain't even acquired yet.
Or how about the sacrifice of, like you just said earlier, is I'm just not gonna say the anger that I got, and we're just gonna just let it just go away. But it never goes away. It never goes away. The problem never disappears.
Right.
I just refuse to say it, and then but when the next offense comes, I'm bringing that back up again. Remember he did this back. I knew I should have. This brother's off. You gotta check him. Okay. I can check him on this point. That's valid. It happened yesterday. But the other thing that happened 8 months ago that no one talked about, bro, come on, bro. Come on, it's too late now. It's too late. The sacrifice of the fools, I'm going to give you the bare minimum so you can get off my back. I'll show up every day. I'll give the faint salute. For the wife, I'll have food on the table if that's what you want. And you're not seeing me for the rest of the night.
Right.
It's going to be a cold night.
You ain't getting my spirit.
AC going to be blasting. Cover's going to be all the way tucked up under her. You ain't getting no covers, G.
Yeah.
You might as well go to the spare room. You ain't getting no covers, man. Go lay with the babies because you ain't getting no comfort at night. That's what's happening. That's what's happening. go back to James 3:18. That was a good verse.
That was good.
Oh my goodness, bro.
James chapter 3 and verse 18. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in peace of them that make peace.
So the fruit of righteousness is sown in them in peace to them that make peace. Meaning what? Like we just read, I have to be looking for the opportunity to be merciful. I have to be looking for that next test where the Most High wants to see, am I more merciful this time than I was last time? If I'm always looking for it, then I'll never be caught off guard when the offense comes. If I'm always looking to give men the benefit of the doubt, when it's time to test, if I give men the benefit of the doubt, it won't be such a hard thing scenario. I won't need a 40-minute counsel to prove to you why I got to sit here and give men the benefit of the doubt. I won't need a whole mini class to be proven, man, you know what? My mentality's off. I already know this. I'm checking it every single day. Because when it's time to sit here and testify what I'm about, when it's time to present myself, hey, man, it won't be no big thing. Because you know what? Well, you know what that means? I'm always operating in the love of Christ. We're going to prove that. Psalms 119. This is what I've been waiting for all class. Psalms 119 and verse 165. We are done with James.
119,
119 and 165.
119 and 165.
A lot of Israel don't know we got verse 9. That's why we're still dealing with these issues. It's a lot of chapters, a lot of words that aren't getting read.
Right. So Psalms 119, verse 165.
1 second. Give me a second, man. I gotta. All right. What you got?
Psalms 119, verse 165. Great peace have they which love the law.
Great peace have they which love thy law. Peace meaning what? Free from agitation, free from frustration. Great peace have they which love thy law. What law are we talking about? The law of Christ, the way Christ operated. That's what the whole New Testament is about. You'll have mental clarity. You'll have a pure outlook. You'll be at peace if you love Christ the way you say you love Christ. And how is that measured? Read on.
And nothing shall offend them.
Some things offend me.
And nothing shall offend them.
Only this person is allowed to offend me.
And nothing shall offend them.
Nothing. If you love Christ, if you love his law, nothing will offend you. How about that? That's what Christ has been wanting us to be. Even in the old law, it says don't hold a grudge. Now, we didn't know what that meant. We didn't know the grudge stemmed from the secret enmity. We couldn't identify it in the new layman's terms, in new spiritual terms. But now we understand. There's no confusion. There's no ignorance anymore. If I love Christ, like I say I love Christ, then stop being offended. Stop taking things personal. Stop taking people personal. Stop holding on to the pain that you've gone through in your past life and your past personal. Can we get to that point where nothing offends us? When nothing agitates us? Nobody, no circumstance, no experience can get under my skin and sway my faith in Christ? That's why the test keeps happening. That's why I have to keep being put in this situation. Because the Most High wants me to master it. You're going to keep getting offended until you stop being offended. That's just what's going to happen. Until you don't look at circumstance and people as being offensive, it's going to keep happening. They're going to keep being in counsel. You're going to have seasonal counsel that we always have. We're having the same conversation every couple of months. Read it one more time for the people in the back.
Psalms 119, verse 165. Great peace have they which love thy law.
Great peace have they which love thy law. Read.
And nothing shall offend them. Nothing
shall offend you. I wish that was in the class. But I'm going to keep showing more examples. Matthew 18 and verse 21. We still got, some time left. We're going to run it. We're going to run it.
Matthew chapter 18 and verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me?
Hold on, Lord. I don't know about this. You talking some craziness right now. You say I can't ever be offended? I got to keep forgiving this guy? He's deliberately doing it on purpose. He obviously don't care. He don't care. He's talking smack. He knows how to get on my skin. How you tell me I gotta forgive this guy? How many times can I see him and be disrespected before I can say forget this guy? He don't love God. Yeah, that's a spiritual lesson. You know, Israel be like, nah, he don't even love God. That's why I don't gotta. You know, come on, bro. If he's still in these doors, he's still showing up every day. He's gotta have some love. Or not, he'll be, you know, cast off eventually, but at least give him the benefit of the doubt. How often do I gotta keep forgiving you? Read.
It says, I'll read from the top.
Yeah.
Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me? And I forgave him.
Mm-hmm.
Till 7 times?
So you know, that's reasonable. That's the number of perfection. 7 times. 7 times, you know. That's a good amount of time. How many times can I be offended? Esau says 2 times, 3 times is max. He's saying 7. That's pretty good. 7 times is pretty good, bro. I open myself up to be used 7 times.
Is it 7 times 7?
Oh, well, we gonna find out. He's spoiling the goods, man. Come on.
Oh, okay, my fault.
Nah, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. This ain't no new verse. I know. Keep reading. It's a new book. Let me get through it. Come on, man. You good. Read on.
Verse 22. Yahushua said to him, I say not unto thee, until 7 times.
I didn't tell you 7 times. That's not my response. Read on.
But until 70 times 7.
Now, I'm not going to sit here and count 70 times 7, but it's in the hundreds. And, you know, it's a large number, you know.
So the point is, you shouldn't.
It's innumerable.
You shouldn't be counting anyway.
Exactly. Look, if you got to sit here and count, I'm doing a number.
44. There's something wrong with you anyway, man. You count.
It's 144. That's 539. If I'm counting 539 times to forgive you, you're the problem.
Yeah.
You are the issue.
Yeah.
It's you, bro. You're the bad guy. Christ said 70 times. You know, Israel's literal. Israel be like, nah, well, he said 70 times 7. I've counted it. You got 15 more offenses, brother, before hey, you're done. This relationship is over.
490.
It's 490? Oh, I do 77 times 7. That's even less.
By the way, how God works, if you do count that out, he's probably going to do the same thing.
Look, like Daryl always says, that's on you.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying God will do it back on you.
Exactly. Because if I can sit here and put a number on how often I forgive, Most High is going to put an even less number. Okay, you got 15 times, and you got 2 more mistakes, brother. You got 2 more. Because you've already done 13 mistakes in the past. So you got 2 left. If I put a number on a man or a woman next to me, Most High has been put a number on me. How about that one?
And I'm going to get you in a car crash.
Bro, wow. Car crash, that's real. Look, that's real. Car crash, repo. You know, the plumbing just burst out of nowhere. You got crazy plumbing expenses. Come on, bro. Your tip goes down the drain immediately. I know this all too well. You get like a $200 tip, and the next day you get a speeding ticket for $200.
It's a fat ram.
Damn, that's a ram. Damn, I knew I was off. You know what? I knew it. That's why I didn't take it personal. But the Most High did that if the Most High gave us a ticket every time we offended that, bro, we wouldn't have nothing. That we wouldn't have nothing. We'd be in debt. We'd be on credit cards. A whole lot of credit card debt. After a while, the bank ain't gonna want to lend us anymore. They know tomorrow's gonna be more debt. This is foolish. Keep reading that.
Verse 23. Therefore is the kingdom of heaven likened unto a certain king, which would take the count of his servants.
So we already talking about, but we're gonna read the same instance in this parable. This is what Christ was saying. Read on.
And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him, which ought him 10,000 talents.
So this is explaining. Christ is giving a simile of how the kingdom of heaven will look. Right? I'm gonna give you an image of how it will look. We have some guy here that he owes 10,000 talents. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of bread. This guy's in debt, major debt right now. You know, his mortgage is about to go in. He's about to get repo. There's a whole lot of ish going on. So he owes a lot of money. Read.
25.
Uh-huh.
But for as much as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife, and children, and all that he had, and payment to be made.
So he owed so much. His Lord was, I need you to be sold. Your wife got to be sold. Your children's got to be sold. Everything that you got, and you still got to make the remaining payments. That means you're in serious debt, bro.
Get the pawn shop.
It's past the pawn shop. You're getting sold. You're now a slave, and it's still not good. You're not even worth paying the debt off. It's that extensive. Read on.
The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him.
Hey, yeah! Hey, look, my life's over. Come on, Lord. Give me the benefit of the doubt, please. Read.
Saying, Lord, have patience with me.
Please, look, please, Lord, give me a chance. I'm gonna figure out a way to get this bread to you. You know what he was thinking, because what he did next. He said, I'm gonna figure out a way, but please give me some patience. Forgive me. Read on.
And I will pay thee all.
Exactly. Give me some time. You know, I got this next come up hidden. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna hit. I'm going to the casino. You know, I'm feeling good. My numbers is good. I hit the lotto. I'm feeling good right now. Just give me some time. What you got?
That was just the talent. Back in the day, the talent is worth $10,000. $10 million.
God damn. 10 million times 10,000. That's, you know.
Well, a talent is anywhere from $1,000 to $30,000 today.
Yeah.
So that's anywhere from 10 million to $300 billion.
You owe Elon Musk money. How about that? You own Elon Musk's whole net worth. Bro, your body and your wife and your kids are not even enough to fill this, bro. Your house is not enough. There's no way. There's no way. This fund right here built the entire space station. There's no way you're covering this. Read on.
Verse 27. Then the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him the debt.
Now, the fact that this Lord, now we understand this is Christ, but the fact that this Lord had enough compassion to forgive such a large-scale debt, you would expect the man that got forgiven to reciprocate the same feelings. That's what you would expect. That's natural. That's just being a good guy. Like, come on, bro. I just got forgiven all this money. You know what I'm saying? I'll give the same benefit out to somebody else. The golden standard. Do good unto others and, you know, expect to be done unto you, right? That's the golden standard. That's what even Esau lives by. Or they say they live by, which is not true. But that's what they say they live by. Anyway, keep reading.
Come. But the same servant went out and found one of his fellow servants.
So that same guy found one of the guys that owed him. All right, read.
Which owed him 100 pence.
They owed him 100 pence. So I found a guy that owed me chump change. He owed me like $1,000. I owe less than a pence.
No, 100 pence is $10 today. 2023, 100 pence is $10.
That's a darn shame, bro. He owed me a Whataburger meal. Actually, that you can't even get a Whataburger meal for $10 anymore. That's like
a Happy Kids meal, sir.
That's like a number one, bro. Big Kids meal, bro.
Mighty Kids meal.
Yeah, Mighty Kids meal. He owed you a Mighty Kids meal, and you hemming him up right now. I was thinking y'all on that one right there. Hold on. That was inside joke, like y'all. Keep reading.
That's what he said.
Keep reading.
All right. Which ought him 100 pence, and he laid hands on him.
Oh man!
And took him by the throat.
That's extreme, bro. You got that much anger and hatred for a cheeseburger, brother? You know what's crazy? Even at Whataburger, you get one cheeseburger with no fries. You still paying $10.
Yeah.
It's for a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I don't know. I must be hungry. Yeah, keep reading that.
And took him by the throat, saying, "Pay me that thou owest."
Oh man, pay what you owe me. I need my $10, G. Now, right now, empty your pockets. Read on.
And his fellow servant fell down at his feet and besought him, saying, "Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all."
So the servant said, "Oh, look, just give me a second chance. I'll pay you everything back." He said the same thing. He said the same thing that he just said to his master. Right. This is the same scenario happening right now. But there's two different events. There's two different results of this. Right. What did he say? The guy who owed a whole lot of money before, what did he say to this youngin right here?
Verse 30. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison.
Oh, so I'm going to put you in jail, bro, for $10. You're gonna be in prison with them real killers, with them real drug dealers for $10.
Think about that.
Yeah, you better meditate on what you did to me. You better think long and hard about how you made me feel. You know what that's equivalent to?
That's crazy.
That's equivalent to a hurt feeling. $10 is a hurt feeling. If you lose $10 from your wallet, you gonna feel some type of way about it, but it ain't gonna stay with you more than a day. It's $10, man, that sucks, but oh well. You don't think about it that long. 30 billion? I mean, that's accurate. 30 billion. Come on, bro. That's your whole life. That's a whole.
That's your whole generation.
That's multiple generations.
I've seen people do it in the hood.
I know they do it.
I've seen people do it. They don't even need it. They just do it for GP and for everybody else's eyes and ears.
Look, there has been fights over a can of beer. There has been fights over a pair of socks. There's been fights for a shoe scuff. You don't think Israel's getting fights for $10? Yes, they're getting fights for $10.
About 50 cents.
50 Cent. You lost. First of all, you lost to 50 Cent, but you're blaming him because he was next to you when it happened. So now I get in a fight. I'm gonna accuse you of stealing from me. I know you was a thing. I can't trust nobody in the world. I can't trust you.
And I'm looking at them like garbage.
Yeah, I know this sucker. He took my 50 cents. Oh, that's the equivalent to that. Yeah. So instead of forgiving him like his Lord forgave him, I'm gonna throw this guy in jail. Read on.
Con, and he would not, but went and cast him into prison till he should pay the debt.
Man.
So when his fellow servants saw what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done.
This was an injustice. We gotta tell someone about this because this can't stand. Read on.
Then his Lord, after that he had called him, said unto him, O thou wicked servant,
man,
I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desiredest me.
I gave you the benefit of the doubt. I gave you the mercy. Mercy again, by that definition, it says to treat an offender better than he deserves. We just read that in Ezra 9 and 13. The Most High doesn't punish us to the extent in which we actually deserve to be punished. So because he gives us that level of charity and concern and mercy, he expects the same. The offense that we get on a daily within our brothers and sisters in Christ is not substantial enough. There's pretty much what Christ is saying is this. There's nothing no one can do to you that you should hold a grudge to. If Christ can be murdered and not hold a grudge, why can't you sit here and take an insult, take a slander here and there, take a lie here and there, be mistreated? Are you above Christ? Are you above the disciples? You're not getting beat for this life. Why can't you sit? And if you are, guess what? Most of us have got something for them too. But can I sit here and not take them personal? Can I sit here and look at the best in you and hope the Most High will change that man or woman's spirit? And if they don't, that's their ass. Excuse my French. That's mercy. I'm not going to take vengeance in my own hands. I'd rather suffer to be defrauded. I'd rather suffer wrongfully. That's thankworthy. Keep reading.
Verse 33. Shouldst not thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee?
Come.
And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the torment, till he should pay all that was due unto him. So likewise, so likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you, if ye from your heart forgive not every one his brother their trespass.
That was important. It's from your hearts, not your mouth. Just because you say I forgive you, doesn't mean you actually forgave them. Only you know what your heart is telling you. Only you know where your mind's at. If you're still having an attitude, if you're still bringing up old events and old offenses, you haven't forgave that person yet. If I can't get past this offense, if I can't see and overlook the mistreatment, then the Most High won't overlook your mistreatment. When you knew the truth and still backslid. When you knew the truth and still didn't lock in the way you should have locked in. You're going to be held accountable for the same things in a larger extent than what you refuse to forgive someone else on. Let that go. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 3:13 through 15. This is why Matthew 18:7 says offenses need to come. 3 and verse 13 through 15.
God.
1 Corinthians chapter 3 and verse 13 reads,
All right.
Every man's work shall be made manifest.
Every man's work will be made manifest. You can't hide your virtue, your spiritual caliber. It's going to be shown. People are going to see it. Wherever you're at, it will be known. The Most High will make sure it's known. Read on.
For the day shall declare it.
Yep. For the day, meaning what? The days shall declare. How long can you? No, it's not Judgment Day.
No, it's the day.
It's the day you got offended. The day you got pissed off. The day your schedule changed all of a sudden.
Adjustment.
In Esau, when I played sports, they call it a sudden change, right? An audible or sudden change. They train you how to deal with unavoidable or like for instance, you're playing football, right? If the head quarterback gets injured out of nowhere, the backup better be ready all day, every day. Because if he's not ready, and that quarterback does have a supernatural accident, y'all lost the game because the second man was never ready to go.
Right.
So when a sudden change happens in your life, when a curveball kicks in, when things that are unpredictable events kick in, that is going to reveal where you're at. And who you are. And where your virtues lie. And how much you love the Most High. It's true. It still goes back into love. Because if I still have virtue deficiencies, it's because I haven't taken enough time to master those deficiencies. And the test, if I keep failing the test over and over again, I'm not sincere. Keep reading.
Every man's work shall be made manifest, for the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire.
That fire is the purification process. The test, the offense, is to purge off all your impurities. It's to purge off the old man as much as possible, the old woman as much as possible. Every event you go through should be an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to gain more in the spirit, if you look at it that way.
So fire is the tribulation.
Exactly.
So would the fire be the offense?
The fire is the offense. The fire is the circumstance to test your virtue. It could be an offense. It could be a person. Keep reading.
Because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is.
The fire, the offense, will try every man's work and what caliber it is. Where are you at? Do you have gold, silver, caliber, precious stones? That may make the fire. Wood, it's getting burnt. It may take a longer time to get burnt, but it's getting burnt. Hey, it's done. And stubble, you're out of there. So, whatever the situation may be, can I look at it as, okay, this is what the Most High is testing me at. If I got a patience issue, if I'm intemperate, if I know I can't control my anger, I should be looking for opportunities to control my anger. Not saying you're looking to argue. That's not what I'm saying. Because people will take my words and mix it around. If the argument does happen, unfortunately, can I be mindful, okay, it's a test. The Lord is testing me. I know for me, when I'm in a situation where I know it's fiery and this can go up or down, it can be spiritual as cuss, or it can be real devilish. I sometimes just take a deep breath.
Somebody come up on you up your throat.
It ain't even that extent. It's just someone ticked me off.
Right.
They pricked me a little bit. They pricked my flesh.
Right.
I take a step back and I have to slow down a little bit. Because if you just react, if you get that hasty spirit, that's when you fall and make a mistake. That's when those words slip out. Those mistakes. That's when I didn't mean to say that, bro. My fault. It didn't have to come out that way.
Right.
We have to keep this in mind so when it does happen, it's not going to be surprising. We're not going to keep failing the test over and over again. Keep reading.
Verse 14.
Oh, shit.
If any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward.
If your work still stands, if your reputation still stands, That's the reward. We just read, the servant that's known for his wisdom will be serviced upon. You'll be given the benefit of the doubt. How you, the result of your life, how men look at you, how women look at you, is based off of your works. If it stands, if you're given the benefit of the doubt when you mess up, it lets you know, hey, I've been pretty good in my mercy. Let me keep going. If not, and you're constantly firing up, you're constantly going crazy. When someone offends you, don't be surprised when you're the one offending that people walk out. That people don't give you the benefit of the doubt. That people are quick to accuse. That people are quick to believe outsiders. It's bad if people believe an outsider more than they believe the spiritual person. That's a problem. But again, the Most High will give every man according to his works. Wherever you've been at in the past to where now you're no longer getting the benefit of that. That's what the scriptures are saying. If it abide, you get a reward. If it don't, read.
If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss.
If it burns up, you suffer loss. That loss is your reputation. That loss may be your household. That loss may be friends. It may be family. If you can't conquer these deficiencies, especially when handling offenses, you're going to suffer loss. Keep reading.
But he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire.
We can be saved from the inevitable doom of losing reputation, of losing friends, of losing family, and ultimately not making the kingdom if we allow this purging process to happen to convert us. Because again, the whole point of this class was we had to be converted as a little child. If we're not, you're not making the kingdom of heaven. Let that go. Philippians 3 and 15. We got a couple more. We actually got 2 more, and that's it.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 15.
1 second. I gotta, I've been typing slower, trying to make sure I don't mess up the camera. So. I'm gonna conquer this one, bro. I'm not having no part 2. Well, I will have a part 2, but not for the same class. I'm not doing it. That's whack.
Philippians chapter 3, verse 15.
Yeah, you got it. Read that.
It says, "Let us therefore, as many as be perfect."
So let us therefore, as many, be perfect. Read.
Be thus minded.
So if I want to be perfected in Christ, if I want to strive for perfection, I have to have the same mind frame. I have to have the mind frame of Christ. This is the highest calling. This is the spiritual gift that we should be aspiring for. Forgiveness. The benefit of the doubt. Mercy. I'm going to treat you better than what you treated me. I'm prone to overlook injuries. I'm not so quick to react every time you hurt my feelings. This is perfection. Read on.
And if in anything ye be otherwise minded.
And if you're not like this, if you're contrary to this, and you're not striving for this, what does the Most High do?
The Most High shall reveal even this unto you.
The Most High will reveal your deficiencies. He will reveal what you've neglected to work on, what you've winked at in your development. He's going to reveal it.
If not, he'll burn it up.
Exactly. He won't reveal it by burning it up and making it not work out.
And he'll reveal it amongst the men and women that you're around.
The closest ones. And give them more ammunition. Make you fun.
Yeah.
The problem is this. Yeah. We're not dealing with spiritual people all the time. That's the unfortunate part. We're spiritual like 20-30% of the time. Most Israel is. So you're giving people fire who are 80% carnal. And you're wondering why now your feelings are getting hurt. Well, I remember when you slept through class because you didn't want to go that day. I remember when you went home and went back to sleep because you didn't feel like it. Or what about you snoozed the alarm? I saw you snooze the alarm. And you told the men that it never went off.
But you want to get on me?
I'm not saying people have done this. I'm just giving you an example. I'm not accusing anybody. I had to clarify that. I know men, or maybe you haven't. I don't know. But whatever you've done, don't be surprised when y'all in the council about how she's off. She's going to throw it right back. Well, he didn't go to work that day. He snoozed his phone. Did he tell y'all that?
Yeah.
Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, he didn't tell us that. Okay.
He said he was sick. He wasn't sick.
He wasn't sick? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Now, anyway, I'm not getting too deep in that. Y'all get the point. Let that go. Let that go. Last verse. Luke 17 and 1 through 5.
Luke 17, verse 1. Then said he unto the disciples.
So we're going to pretty much read the same story, but there's something I wanted to get out of here that really stuck with me. And it's why I was mentioning the mercy aspect earlier. So we're at, I'm not even at the verse, my fault. We're at Luke 17 and 1. Yeah, give me that real quick.
God, Luke 17, verse 1. Then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible, but that offenses will come.
So Christ is saying it's impossible to avoid these offenses. It don't matter if you change the state. It don't matter if you change the job. It don't matter if you change the brotherhood. It don't matter if you change the sisterhood. It don't matter if you change the camp. It don't matter if you change the religion. Wow. You're going to have to go through these offenses regardless. Because the Most High wants to see, are you going to change or not? It's impossible, but that offenses will come. Read.
But woe unto him through whom they come.
Now, like the next class I'm going to be going into, destruction to him by whom they come. If you're the one prone to offending, the Most High's got something for you. You've got to answer for that. Because you can't keep getting away with offending God's children. You can't keep getting away with harming the mental peace and the mental stability of God's children. You got to answer. And it's not going to be pretty. But you know what? We may not see it. Israel has to stop hoping for the destruction. Because that's where the grudging comes in. It's the secret anger or the secret seeking of revenge. I want to see you fall. I want to see you suffer. That's still not the pure mindset. We got to be able to forgive. And whatever happens to that person, it happens. I can't tell you how many times someone has offended me in my life. And I know I'm not the oldest guy in the book. But there's been deaths behind that. Men that offended me in my life 5 years later just end up just dead. Mm-hmm. Is it because of just that one offense he had towards me? Or maybe it was other offenses. I don't know. How about, I'm not going to go too deep into it. The point of the matter is the Most High will justify you. Right. And you don't have to do anything. As long as you don't take them personal. For instance, I got in a fight when I was a little kid. And I didn't see that person for a very long time after that. And 2 years later, I don't know what, he was a very powerful dude. He was like 2 times my size. I was young, man. He was 2 times my size. Big dude, big husky, Edomite dude, right? And 2 years later, I've never seen this guy look so defeated. And I went to high school, and he just rushed up to me first day of orientation, and he apologized. He was teared up. He said, "I didn't get a chance to apologize to you. It's been heavy on my conscience, but I want to say I'm sorry for that fight. I know it was my fault." And then 3 years later, he's dead. Wow. I'm not sitting here saying that was because of me, right? But I do know the Most High is a revenger. I do know the Most High will sit here and defend you on your behalf if you keep the mindset pure. Mm-hmm. It may not be as extreme as death. It may be households will fall apart. Right. Maybe whatever comforts they had will start collapsing. Whatever it may be, he's going to have a specific design for them to handle that offense. Keep reading.
God. Luke 17, verse 2.
Because this is what Christ says if you offend his children. Read.
It were better for him that a millstone were hanged about his neck, wow, and he cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones.
Because the Most High, just because he tells us we have to accept it and forgive and not take them personal, he's going to justify us, and they've got to answer for that. Destruction is coming for them too. Mm-hmm. Keep reading.
Take heed to yourself.
Consider this. Read.
If thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him.
Yep, well, hold on. That's important. It's take heed to yourself. And this is another way of handling the offense, right? If my brother, if my sister offends me, rebuke them, correct them. You offended me. That was off, brother. That was off, sister. Let me show you why in the scripture it was off. Read on.
God. And if he repent.
And if he repent, read.
Forgive him.
Okay, so if my brother offends me and I rebuke him and he repents and he changes his ways and he's now a spiritual guy and he never hurts my feelings anymore, forgive him. It's great. Okay, cool. What about those that don't repent and that keeps making the same mistake over and over again after you've already rebuked him? Keep reading.
And if he trespasses against thee 7 times in a day.
So I'm in trouble with you all day and you're constantly smacking loud. Brett's hot. You got fish in the truck. Look, bro, I do not like fish in the truck, bro. Look, man. Look, there's no breathing room. I gotta smell the whole thing. You constantly. I've already warned you, brother. I've warned you, Ak. Can you please put the fish away, please? And you keep offending me. You keep pulling it out. Read.
And 7 times in a day turn again to thee, saying.
I gotta sit here and turn to you 7 times in a day, and read on, say.
I repent. Thou shalt forgive him.
So it says, if he's offending you 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day, turn again to thee saying, I repent. If he keeps saying, I apologize. First off, I'm going to say this. If you're offending 7 times in a day, are you really sorry?
That or it's a Twilight Zone.
Come on, bro. Look, you kept saying, look, it's been 2 hours, bro. You already apologized 8 times. Are you going to stop doing it? Salakia. Damn. Okay, kind. I'll give you benefit of the doubt. And the father said, oh, I forgot. Salakia. Okay, kind. I forgive you, brother. Forgive you. Now you started to get irritated. Be spiritual. It's 7 times that he turns to you. He said, I repent. You got to keep forgiving him. He didn't know no better. He don't know. He don't realize. It's okay. It's okay, brother. Keep reading.
Thou shalt forgive him.
Oh man, look what look what the disciples said in response. Read this.
And the apostles said unto the Lord, increase our faith.
He said, I need you to increase my faith. I can't do that. There ain't no way. There ain't no way you increase my faith, Lord. There's no way. If it was up to us, they'd have been out the truck. They'd have been kicked out. You walking home, G. I'm tired of this, man. Christ's the only reason I'm going to keep forgiving you. But that's why I said mercy is faithfulness. That's the connection. The mercy is faithfulness. Because however faithful, how much I love Christ, I'm going to keep forgiving you. And I'm going to keep overlooking the offenses. And I'm going to keep taking the dirtbag conversations and the dirtbag attitude. And I'm not going to let you mess up. And that's the spiritual way of looking at things. Until next time, brothers. Shalom. No, on a serious note, the Water Brothers for coming out, the Water Sisters for coming out, watching online, being in person. That is all I have for part 1. I may go into, if the schedule allows, war into the offenders. May not, maybe next week, maybe never. But just understand, the Most High does justify you. Just because you have to be spiritual and you got to be the more mature one and forgive over and over and over again, the Most High is not unfaithful to forget your good works. So with that being said, shalom, Thawad for tuning in. Class will be scheduled on Friday, and we will see you soon. Shalom.